Shotgun Wedding had a trailer that made it look so terrible. I did not want to watch this movie. Now, as many of you know that I work for Movie Scene Canada, and one of our other critics was not able to review it for the week that it came out, so it landed on my lap, and someone needed to review it, and that person was me. However, this is a perfect lesson to teach us that sometimes a film can surprise you. But in what way did it surprise me? Hey guys, my name is Brandon, aka the BrandoCritic, and I was able to see Shotgun Wedding a few days early, and I'm here to give you my honest, no BS, non-spoiler review for you today and tell you if it's worth a watch. If you guys have seen Shotgun Wedding, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section down below, and make sure you stick around to the end of the video so that you know my rating of the film, or else you might be going into a movie that might not be right for you. Now, let's begin. So Shotgun Wedding is from Jason Moore, and he has done such films as Pitch Perfect and Sisters, and stars Jennifer Lopez, Josh Duhamel, Jennifer Coolidge, Lenny Kravitz, and many others. And the story is about a destination wedding gone awry when Filipino pirates decide to hijack the wedding, which is happening on one of the Philippines islands, because the father of the bride is actually a very rich, wealthy man. So while all the wedding guests are held hostage, the groom and the bride make their way around the island trying to escape and save everybody, and they do find out why they fell in love in the first place after having some rocky moments before the actual wedding. So what are my thoughts on the movie? Well, last year we had The Lost City, a rom-com that took place on a tropical island with Sandra Bullock, Channing Tatum, Daniel Radcliffe, and Brad Pitt. We also had Ticket to Paradise with George Clooney and Julia Roberts, another rom-com that took place on a tropical island of sorts. We also had Marry Me, which was another movie about marriage starring Jennifer Lopez. So I feel like Shotgun Wedding definitely fits into that category of the destination romantic comedy, which is very hot right now. You know, Hollywood is a very copycat industry. Is it just a coincidence? Who knows? But throw a little bit of Die Hard in there and you have Shotgun Wedding. But what are my thoughts on the actual movie? Well, I'll be honest. This movie is not technically well made, or I would not even argue that it's a good movie. But I enjoyed it. You know, it's kind of one of those like, but I kind of enjoyed it. Like, I'm kind of guilty for saying it, but you know, I smiled way more than I actually thought I was going to during this movie. And at the end of the movie, I said, you know what? I'm actually happy I was able to see it. Now, I just know that this movie is going to be torn apart on Rotten Tomatoes, and I completely understand every single reason why they're going to say that this movie is bad. I completely agree with them. For example, there are many moments in this movie where characters are just talking with each other, and they think that they're being funny, but nothing funny is actually being said. And there are many moments like that in this movie where it just goes on and on and on and on. And I'm saying to myself, guys, we're not progressing the story. Nothing funny is actually being said. Let's move on. So that's annoying. There are many moments where I thought, wow, the ADR in this movie is really terrible, meaning you can definitely see parts where the characters' mouths are moving, but the sound doesn't sync up. A lot of the L&J cuts when they're cutting between the over-the-shoulder shots between two characters, they don't sync up. So again, like, there's some technical problems with this movie. The music is extremely forced. For example, Josh Duhamel gets a text from Jennifer Lopez in this movie right before the wedding. Minor spoiler, but not really, where it says, "Can we talk? Something doesn't feel right." Puts his phone down and goes, and then the music goes, it's like it's right on cue. 5 seconds and then right on to the next scene. It's very forced. It's very, this is how you should be feeling, as opposed to it just naturally occurring. Like, oh, I feel bad because this wedding might be in shambles. No, it's the movie basically forcing that on you, going, this is how you're supposed to feel during this one section of the movie. And honestly, much of the movie does feel like that. It's very formulaic. It feels very X's and O's on a sports team's whiteboard. It feels very checklist. Like, for example, 2/3 through the movie, I'm thinking, okay, this is the part of the movie where they're going to have a disagreement. This is the part where they fight. Sure enough, right on cue. The two characters are arguing about things that we didn't see and things that we didn't actually know about the characters. Therefore, this is the characterization of the characters. Jennifer Lopez goes, Josh, I don't actually remember the character's name in the movie, which I guess is a bad sign, but regardless. She goes, you think something bad is always going to happen, but then by you thinking that, something bad actually does happen. You're self-sabotaging yourself and it's really hard on me. And then Josh Duhamel goes, yeah, well, it's really hard when you don't fully commit to me because I know that you're afraid of losing something. So I feel like I can't really get to love you. 2 seconds go by. Oh. All right, fight over. Next scene. So there are many problems in this movie, but why did I actually enjoy it and why did I leave it with a smile on my face? Well, I'll tell you, but if you've liked this video so far, hit the like button. Thank you so much. This film knows exactly what it is, and it's not trying to be anything else. If this movie tried to be overly dramatic, then I'd have a lot more problems with this movie. But this movie knows exactly what it is. And the movies that I listed earlier, like Lost City and Marry Me, I think that the reason why these films are coming out nowadays is because people are nostalgic for those early 2000s comedies and those rom-coms the Anchormans, the 13 going on 30s, the 40-year-old virgins. People are craving those movies again, and I think that this movie does bring us the best parts of those movies, and the worst parts, unfortunately. But it does bring us the best parts, in my own opinion, of course. For example, Jennifer Lopez and Josh Duhamel. I'm shocked that I'm even saying this. I like them in this movie. I think they have chemistry. I don't think they're really good actors, and even in this movie, you do see their limited acting range. But as a couple, I bought them, thought they were great. It's weird to say, trust me. The comedy, not all of it works. Like I said earlier, there are many scenes where they're just talking and it just drains on. But there are many other moments where I'm like, you know what? That's very clever. It works. It's simple. I laughed. And that's what a comedy movie's supposed to do, right? We got one-liners in this movie. Many of them actually worked. For example, I'm gonna spoil one of them within the first 5 minutes of the movie. Jennifer Lopez goes up to Josh Duhamel and goes, "Hey, so your Aunt Amy was actually asking me where she could charge her vibrator." Aunt Amy came? Well, she's going to. Something simple, dumb, lowbrow humor. I laughed at it. It's silly and yeah, it's stupid, but I laughed. Gotta be honest. And I can understand if that humor is not for you, but if that humor is for you, then I think that this movie might have something in store for you. Jennifer Coolidge is in this movie, and she plays Jennifer Coolidge, and I think that she's hilarious in this movie, and I think that she completely steals the show. Whether she's cock-blocking people or she's completely situationally inept, she was great. "You got any hot dogs? Ooh, I want a hot dog real bad." There's a lot of over-the-top moments which are very fun. For example, our main characters are not action stars, but when they do act like action stars, they act like we would probably act. We're kind of terrified, and we're like, "I can't believe we just did that. Did I just kill a person? Like, how do you feel?" Terrible, actually. I'm really scared, but yeah, you know, it's relatable, right? Or when they have a grenade in their hand, it's like, oh my God, you have a grenade in your hand. Don't freak out, just okay. And when something crazy happens, they're screaming, they're going over the top. I really got involved when that happens. I'm like, yeah, this movie's just over the top, it's fun. There's your squirmy, gross out jokes like every standard 2000s comedy. There's running gags in the movie that work. You know, Lenny Kravitz is in this movie and he's like this really sexy womanizer who's super rich and really smooth and very in touch with his emotions. Namaste. And all the women at the wedding want to sleep with him, and throughout the entire movie, they're always just trying to get closer to him and trying to, you know, woo him and seduce him. That's really fun. There's a running gag between the maid of honor and the best man, how they hooked up before the wedding. And now that they're hostages together, they keep bantering back and forth. A lot of that's funny too. And even the structure of the jokes, they're actually fairly clever. Like there was one moment where Josh Duhamel and Jennifer Lopez were like arguing with each other for like 5 minutes. And I'm like, oh my God, this is going on forever. It's not actually that funny. But then the joke actually paid off and was executed fairly well. It was a long build up, but the execution, I'm like, you know what? That works. You know what, movie? You surprised me. So Shotgun Wedding is nothing great, right? But this movie really worked for my sense of humor. And I think that if you have the same sense of humor as me, I do think this movie will work for you. Like, for example, I'm one of the few people who really enjoyed Barb and Star Go to Vista Del Mar. I know a lot of people hated that movie. It totally worked for me. That sense of humor is completely up my alley. So the question is this movie worth a watch? Well, if you're looking for some lighthearted fun, if you have a movie night with the guys or the girls with some beers or some wine, or it's on a date night, you want something a bit lighthearted, over the top, kind of silly and enjoyable, then I think this movie is definitely worth a watch. I'm giving this movie a 3 out of 5. I will completely understand why this movie gets a low rating on Rotten Tomatoes. I completely get that from a technical standpoint, but I had fun with it. So now you know my rating of the film, but that still leaves you with one problem. If you like this movie, you're gonna want to watch another movie just like it. So I have a review for Marry Me on my channel, and I hope that you watch that one too, and I'll see you guys there in the comment section. Hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys there. Take care.